Greetings and thanks for tuning in again. This week, our COVID-19 positivity rates, case rates, and hospital rates remain low. However, as I noted last week, COVID cases are surging in Europe, Asia, and Australia from the BA.2 version of the Omicron variant, and increasing hospitalizations there as well. The bad news about BA.2 subvariant is that it's about 50 to 60% more transmissible than the first Omicron strain. The good news is that this strain does not appear to cause more severe illness or evade immune responses from the vaccinations or prior infections. However, we all have to be aware that the farther in the past you either had an infection or you had your vaccinations, the effectiveness of those vaccinations does begin to wane. But the bottom line is there's no reason for anyone to die of COVID anymore except in the rarest of circumstances. We have the vaccines, we have the antibodies, we have the treatments now that we didn't even have a year ago. But if we ignore this new subvariant, think this pandemic is over, not get regularly tested, and refuse to get vaccinated or boosted, then we should expect and be prepared for another surge and the possibility of straining our healthcare system yet again. One of the main reasons Montgomery County has a death rate that's 1/3 lower than the national average is because this government, our residents, and our businesses have taken this virus more seriously than other jurisdictions around our state and our nation. But we're far from perfect. Even though 86% of our population is fully vaccinated, only 56% of our eligible residents have received their booster or an additional dose. In better news, we've reached about 60% in terms of pediatric vaccinations. The national average is only 27%. We're more than double the national rate, and that's pretty incredible. And I'm glad that we're up to 78% of our 65 and older population having received their additional doses. These residents are especially vulnerable, and we must make sure that they're boosted. Over the past weekend, the New York Times featured a story that nationally focused on Black adults and the fact that they were hospitalized at higher rates than whites during the latest Omicron surge this winter. We have the same disparities here in Montgomery County. During the peak of the Omicron surge in January, Black Montgomery County residents were 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID than our Asian population, twice as likely as our white population, and about 60% greater than the Hispanic population. This disparity is not acceptable, and we must do better. There is a clear correlation between hospitalization rates and vaccination rates, and all eligible county residents are getting vaccinated, getting boosted, and encouraging others to do so as well. This past Tuesday was the last day that the Federal Health Resources and Services Administration covered the costs of COVID-19 testing and treatment for the uninsured. And on April 5th, that will be the last day they will cover the costs of vaccination for this vulnerable population. This is being driven by the failure of Congress to provide funding to the Biden administration. This is a national embarrassment and a major failure of policy, and should be addressed as quickly as possible. Now is the time we should prepare for potential future surges, not repeat the mistakes that were made this last time, particularly last year with the Delta variant when people thought this was over. The uninsured are the working poor and disproportionately people of color in our communities. They're already dealing with increasing gas prices, rents, and food, and have the least incomes to be able to deal with that. This is not the time to be cutting them off from critical healthcare needs. We should be providing to them. The important news is that testing and vaccination in Montgomery County operated clinics are currently free, and they will remain free for you to get tested and get vaccinated. And if you know someone who's uninsured, there are options available. Please call 311 to learn about the services provided through our Health and Human Services Department. Our STREETERIES program in downtown Bethesda, Silver Spring, and Wheaton, which began during the pandemic, will be extended throughout the summer and at least through Labor Day, Monday, September 5th. Our STREETERIES program has helped reduce the transmission of the COVID virus while helping keep our restaurants and businesses and workers employed. They've provided safe and family-friendly outdoor gathering spaces for our residents throughout a challenging time. As the weather begins to warm up over the next several weeks, residents can enjoy these outdoor dining experiences and continue to support our local businesses. Over the past 3 weeks, we've been recognizing the second anniversary of the pandemic by honoring those we lost and by highlighting and appreciating our healthcare community and our housing efforts. This week, it's Essential Workers Week in Montgomery County. I want to thank all of our essential workers for their hard work and dedication serving our communities over the last 2 years. They went to work, they interacted with the public at a time when personal protective equipment was in short supply and before vaccines were available. They continued to do their jobs throughout the pandemic. Their work kept our government running and kept services available for our residents. As we honor all of the county's essential workers, from our grocery store and retail store employees to our fire, police, and rescue services, our health care workers, public and private, teachers and child care providers, and government employees, I encourage all residents to take a moment this week to thank these workers for their service and to appreciate the risks and sacrifices they took to ensure that our essential needs were met throughout this pandemic. Residents are encouraged to share pictures on social media and show appreciation in other ways to acknowledge their family, friends, and people who made a difference in their lives over the last couple of years. And please remember to tag Montgomery County on Twitter at MontgomeryCOMD and on our Facebook page in order to boost the celebration of our essential workers. Speaking of essential workers, I was glad to visit the Silver Spring Bus Depot last week and sign a Transit Driver Appreciation Day proclamation. Many Montgomery County residents rely on our transit system. Our transit operators have demonstrated dedication, work ethic, and resilience and have proven themselves to be leaders in times of need as they kept Montgomery County moving and moving forward. In my FY23 recommended budget, I proposed increasing the salary of our police officers to make their pay competitive with the rest of the region. I'm hopeful that the Montgomery County Council will approve this expenditure, which will greatly help in the recruitment and retention of our county police officers. If you or someone you know would like to serve our community as a Montgomery County police officer, please register and attend our expedited hiring weekend this coming Saturday, March 26th and Sunday, March 27th for the August 2022 Police Academy class. Anyone interested in attending this event must apply online at joinmcp.com. For more information about this event, contact a recruiter at 240-773-5300. Finally, thank you again for joining me this week, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.